why fat loss feels harder in your 30s and what actually works now. I hear women say all the time, what worked for me at 25 doesn't work now at 35. And as a 33-year-old woman who has done multiple dieting phases over the last few years, I'm here to tell you it is not your age that is the problem, it is your approach. Let's talk about the key factors that are different now compared to when you were in your 20s. So, number one is going to be stress. Your stress levels now are likely way higher than when you were in your 20s. So, that is going to be having an impact. When we're stressed, that then impacts our sleep and also our recovery. So, those key three things, even if you're training and eating well, are going to have an impact on your overall results and your ability to stick to things and remain consistent when life is a little bit harder and more stressful. You might have a more high stress job, or it might be your home environment that's more stressful. You maybe have kids, you might be looking after an elderly parent. There's so many different things as we get older that come into account that make things genuinely feel harder and really make us less able to remain as consistent as we were in our 20s when we had literally no stress, no worries in the world. And that is why genuinely it feels harder as you get older. It's not really right now to do with your age in itself. I've worked with women in their 70s who have achieved 60 kg losses, which is absolutely incredible. So age doesn't stop you from losing weight, but I think as we get older, things become more difficult and our decision fatigue and our adherence levels, we have less patience almost, especially for ourselves, because for a lot of women in their 30s, they have so many other commitments and they are often falling to the bottom of the order of importance. So you're putting yourself last, and that also has an impact because you're not prioritizing the things that are going to get you to where you want to be. The biggest advice I can give you if you're a woman over the age of 35 who is wanting to achieve fat loss and it feels incredibly difficult is really audit your time and what is available to you. So don't think that you can train 5 days a week if you can only train twice. Don't think you have to make different meals to your family, for example, because that's going to add more stress. Just want simple, repeatable structures that you can do on a weekly basis that are going to allow you to get to that result. Key things: high protein and strength training to make sure that we are building up that muscle mass is going to work much more effectively than HIIT training and massively reducing your calories. The next thing we want to focus on is regular movement throughout the day. So rather than sitting all the time, we want regular intervals of you being able to walk so that you are moving your body. So it could be 50 minutes in the morning, 50 minutes at lunch, 50 minutes afterwards. You don't have time now to be able to go for a 60-minute walk. So small, shorter bursts are going to be more effective. And really look at your behaviors and what you do when you're stressed. So do we turn to more alcohol? Alcohol has two factors here. We have calories, of course, which is the obvious one. Bottle of wine, 650 calories. If we're doing that twice a week, adds up. But also alcohol slows down the fat burning within the body. So when you've got alcohol in your system, your body is going to prioritize breaking that down rather than breaking down the body fat. So it's going to slow that down for however many days that alcohol is in the system. So you're actually slowing down your ability to burn fat if you're drinking. And a lot of women I speak to, especially in their mid-30s who have high stress jobs or have a busy family life, they're drinking like 3 to 4 times per week, if not every night. So that would be the first thing that I would look to massively cut down on, to try and keep it to 1 to 2 times per week is much more effective for a calorie perspective, but also your ability to drop body fat effectively. The next thing we'd look at what to prioritize in a busy week. I feel like so much emphasis is put on exercising for fat loss, when the reality is the biggest factor that is going to contribute to you losing weight or not is going to be your nutrition. So if you are having a stressful week and you are just prioritizing workouts instead of your nutrition and your goal is fat loss, you would be better prioritizing your nutrition and maybe some walks rather than the training itself. Obviously, we want to train for heart health, bone density, muscle mass. Those things are all really important, especially as women. But if your sole goal right now is to drop body fat, your calorie deficit is going to be your number one priority. And that leads nicely on to training smarter, not harder. Look at 2 consistent workouts per week. 3 would be amazing if you can. Full body session, targeting all the main areas, really strengthening up your body and fighting to keep that muscle mass in a good place alongside your protein target, is going to be massively beneficial to you as well. From 30 years old, women lose 0.5 to 1% of our muscle mass every single year. But with resistance training, this can be slowed down massively, and many people continue to build muscle into their 50s, 60s, and 70s with effective resistance training. If you couple that with eating enough protein, muscle loss can be avoided completely. And as women, when we have more muscle mass, we can maintain our weight much easier. And that is because the more muscle we have, the more calories we burn on a day to day basis. So, this is why women should be strength training well into their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It's so important to maintain that muscle mass. So, just to circle back, it's not impossible to lose weight as you get older. Things genuinely feel harder. We have other external stresses that happen within our lives. What worked for you then is not going to work for you now because you have less available time usually. So instead, I want you to look at what you can sustain, what is achievable within your current lifestyle, and stick to that for longer than 10 days to actually achieve the result. So that is a consistent calorie deficit, no extremes, focusing on portion control and high protein, especially around family meals, a nice consistent step target, moving frequently throughout the day, and resistance training you can stick to. So, whether that be 2 sessions or 4, something that you can stick to where you can preserve your muscle mass and continue to build on it as we get older. In these videos, I really want you guys to understand that losing fat isn't impossible. I want to give you helpful strategies to be able to do it in an effective way. I share more tips on my Instagram and TikTok on a daily basis, so check the caption below to go follow me on there. I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.